Meditation is a practice that's been around for thousands and thousands of years, yet there's still a huge misconception about what it really is. But in reality, it's actually something that everyone can do and everyone can benefit from. There's even been hundreds of studies that prove this. There's something that we're doing every single day for the majority of the day. We're thinking. We're always thinking. Best-selling author Eckhart Tolle even goes as far to say that humans are addicted to thinking. Try to stop thinking right now for just 10 seconds. Chances are, unless you've been practicing meditation for a while, you had at least a couple of thoughts pop into your mind during this brief period of time. You might say, well, thinking isn't a bad thing, it's good. We need to think in order to survive, don't we? Well, that's true, but only to some extent. If you really sit down and take a look at it, the large majority of your thinking isn't as useful as you think it is. A lot of it is actually quite negative. Just to prove a point, I took the privilege and sat down with a pen and paper for 5 minutes and recorded as many of my thoughts that I could. I had a total of a whopping 2 thoughts that I would consider to be either positive or constructive, while on the other hand, I had a total of 11 thoughts that I would consider to be negative and not constructive at all. They also have a direct correlation with how you feel. For example, let's say that you're at a party and the following thought pops into your mind. What am I doing with my hands? I should be talking to people. Am I being awkward? And all of a sudden, you're feeling anxious. Another example. Let's say that you're on the train and somebody steps on your shoe by accident. You start thinking, he didn't even say sorry. How dare he? And all of a sudden, you're feeling angry. So we know that we think a lot. And we also know that most of our thoughts are either negative or not constructive. And finally, we know that our thoughts can affect how we feel. So you can see how we came to the conclusion that thinking too much might just make you feel crappy sometimes. Now, what does thinking have to do with meditation? Well, there's hundreds of different ways that you can meditate. There's breathing meditation, there's mantra meditation, there's guided meditation, just to name a few. But all of them do one thing in common. They teach us how to slow down the amount of thoughts entering our mind as well as the speed of which thoughts enter our mind. And with practice, you can even reach points where you have no thoughts for short periods of time. And this is why meditation has so many benefits. When you think less, you become more in control of your emotions. When you practice meditation, you're basically teaching your mind how to turn off your thoughts like a switch. So the next time somebody steps on your shoe and you start thinking, how rude, you can just turn it off. You can control whether or not you want to get mad. On top of that, when you think less, you start spending less time in your head and more time outside. And you start noticing things. Trees are brighter, the birds are beautiful, you'll notice flowers on the floor. You'll become less involved with your thoughts and more involved with the real world.